a chilling murder of an attorney. Who and why took the life of a successful woman and young mother? Don't miss out. The victim's ghost will expose her killer. This is Psychic Investigations, a channel of exclusively true and impressive stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate tangled criminal cases and unbelievable paranormal phenomena. On August 14, 2017, attorney Victoria Olejnik was found dead in the town center.
Our daughter is gone. This pain tears at our souls day and night.
I can't believe she's simply gone.
"38-year-old Victoria was killed in the apartment she rented. Her death occurred between 7 and 10 in the morning. She died from mechanical asphyxiation. She was strangled with something resembling an electrical cord."
Victoria's 8-year-old son, Renat, and her ex-husband, Oleg, whom she divorced a year ago, found her body. During his summer vacations, the boy was staying with his father in a town about 40 kilometers away. On the eve of her murder, Victoria told her friends that the father was supposed to bring the boy the next morning.
She was waiting for the boy and prepared borscht and serniki for him the day before.
The victim's ex-husband refused to speak on camera, but agreed to a private conversation with our expert.
"We went upstairs, and Renat inserted the key in the lock, but the door was unlocked."
The boy entered the apartment first. What he saw there was a too terrible picture for a child.
He saw his mother lying dead in the kitchen.
His eyes were wide with fear. Then I turned my head and saw her lying there in the kitchen.
Oleg immediately pushed his son out of the apartment and rushed to the kitchen. There, he smelled a gas leak and realized that an explosion could happen at any moment.
"Did anyone turn on the gas stove?"
Yes. I opened the window and quickly turned off the burners. All 4 of them were on, but there were no flames.
Oleg touched Victoria's neck, but felt no pulse.
Her neck was cold, and the bruise was deep crimson. I stepped out and said, "Son, your mother has passed away."
The father comforted his son as best as he could and called the police.
My son-in-law called me and said Victoria was killed. I said, "What are you talking about? How can this be? It's unimaginable. It's unimaginable."
Apart from the police, Victoria's friends also arrived at the scene. They are all lawyers too. The apartment was in disarray.
Everything was upside down and things were thrown out of the cabinets.
The police initially suspected a robbery, but after closer examination, they considered another version.
It was staged as a robbery. Her ring remained untouched, as did the new phone she'd recently purchased, and so did her mink coat.
Of all Victoria's valuable belongings, the unknown assailant took only the gold earrings and chain. So they had been searching for something else in her apartment. But what is it? Additionally, the experts confirmed that there were no signs of forced entry. Could it be that Victoria herself opened the door to her killer?
Victoria and her son were the only people who had the keys. According to her friends and family, she didn't allow strangers into her apartment. Does this mean that she knew her killer if she opened the door for them?
She was strangled from behind. There are no signs of struggle. This means she wasn't expecting an attack.
Victoria died between 7 and 10 TAS on Monday morning. That's the time when everyone goes to work, yet none of her neighbors we interviewed had seen anyone enter or leave the apartment.
You have to be really cold-blooded to do something like this. Take the life of a young, beautiful woman, a mother.
Victoria owned a law firm and worked a lot. But her son always came first for her.
Her son stayed without a mother. That's probably the most heartbreaking part of this situation.
Psychologists are currently working with Renat. He's deeply affected by what he witnessed. Meanwhile, Victoria's family and friends are struggling to come to terms with the loss of their dearest person.
No suspects, no arrests. Nothing.
We hope that the psychics will help us solve this murder. That's the only hope we have left.
our most powerful psychics, Olena Kurilova and Kayal Alekperov, take on this high-profile case.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Helena.
I am Taisia, Victoria's friend.
I lost my dear sister.
We'll do everything to find the beast who took her life. Do you have your sister's photo?
Yes.
I have a vision. A woman's hand presses buttons. It's the hand of someone who died. What does the psychic's strange vision mean? How can a dead hand press buttons?
I had a dream yesterday. I saw a large piece of glass like a mirror with letters and numbers on it. I tried to read them, but someone's hand was erasing them.
My jinns are telling me the answer is in the car that wasn't there.
Victoria had a secret that the killer knew about. What was her secret?
I don't know.
Helena, strangely enough, but after your sister's death, you feel guilty. What do you blame yourself for?
I didn't pay enough attention to her. I didn't tell her everything. That I love her and that she's my dearest person ever.
You were supposed to know her killer. She was going to tell you about them during a phone call, and it happened more than once. But you always seem to cut the conversation short.
When she had time to call me, I'd say, Victoria, let's talk later. I'm very busy right now. I'll call you later.
The only person she could share her problems with was you, Helena. For everyone else, she always tried to appear strong.
I'm sorry. I didn't always have time for you. I deeply regret it now. I want you to know that I love you very much.
And she loves you too. Wait. I hear something? Rainy. Who's Rainy?
Her son.
It turned out that only Victoria's closest people knew that this is what she affectionately called her son, Renat, whom she adored.
She was a super mom. She was 29 or 30 when she gave birth. Renat was a long-awaited child, so she devoted herself entirely to him.
Currently, Renat is living with his father, Oleg. The family says that the boy can't accept the fact that his mother won't hug or kiss him anymore. And he desperately wants her killer to be found. And now, I see your sister exiting through this door. Did she live in this block?
Yes.
And then, I had a vision of Victoria again. She was looking at something on her phone. It looked like some kind of files with photos of men, like some criminal dossiers. Suddenly, she stopped at one of the photos. I couldn't see it clearly, but I understood she was looking at her killer.
Victoria was planning to work with criminal cases shortly before her death.
Could Victoria's death be related to her work?
There's someone who also believes it's related to her professional activities. It's her husband.
Do you happen to know if Victoria took on criminal cases?
Certainly. There was one recent criminal case related to drugs. She was very concerned about it.
We need to work in the apartment where the murder occurred. However, the new tenant didn't allow the psychics in the apartment, so the clairvoyants had to tune in to the murder from outside the apartment. I see a man of around 40 years old. His hair is dark and receding.
That's her husband.
He seems afraid and very nervous. Why?
According to Victoria's friends, her ex-husband, Oleg, feared being accused of the murder. After all, the first suspects are usually those closest to the victim.
If you didn't do anything, why would you be afraid?
The man knows how to cover up tracks and destroy evidence.
He's an attorney, a practicing lawyer.
Did any of you suspect her husband?
I lean toward this version.
Many people suspect him. Oleg is the only person who had a very negative attitude toward Victoria.
He was jealous. He's unfulfilled. Clients usually preferred her, so they were actual business rivals.
Why did Victoria die? Love and money.
A shocking revelation. Love and money? Could her ex-husband truly be the killer?
I just spoke to Victoria's colleagues who knew her well. She didn't have cases that were truly high-profile crimes. They were mostly civil proceedings.
But why did Oleg claim she dealt with criminal cases?
We need to talk to him.
Katerina Malichenko calls Victoria's ex-husband to ask if he can speak to the psychics.
Could you please come to see us for a few minutes? To talk to the psychics? He says no.
I sensed that Victoria was afraid of her ex-husband.
She feared he'd take her son from her.
It turned out that after the divorce, Victoria had conflicts with her ex-husband because he wanted to take their son to live with him.
I hear his words. I'll kill you. Did he threaten her?
He said it was simpler to kill her than to deal with her.
Incredible anger and aggression, fueled by some financial matters.
They were at court because of child support.
Do you mean he didn't want to pay child support for his own child?
Yes, yes.
He's very greedy for money.
Did he lose the court case?
Yes.
He was shocked. He couldn't understand how Victoria, a mere woman, won the court case against him, an outstanding professional.
It was she who filed for the divorce, right? The marriage of the broken heart. Why was it broken?
My Jinn say it was because of secret love.
She found her husband's chat with another woman in his phone.
They were talking about a dinner together, and he'd bought her a gift.
She got mad, took the child, and left. Then she rented an apartment in another town and went to live there.
He felt offended and humiliated.
Yes, and she didn't just leave, but she also took the son with her.
She gradually started arranging her life, and he couldn't accept that she was succeeding.
He told her, "I see you're doing well." He envied her.
Could it be that Victoria's ex-husband hated her so much that he took her life?
At approximately what time was he supposed to bring the son to hers?
At 7:20. But he claims that on that day, Renat overslept, and so he was late, even though her apartment wasn't far from his office.
It's a 3-minute drive by car. He could have called her and said, "Come out and take Renat." Instead, he didn't drop him off and took him to work.
Oleg texted his ex-wife, saying he would be late and would bring the boy later.
Victoria's ex-husband sent her the text at 7:49, and Victoria replied with a short, "Okay."
So, could he have decided to leave their son at work and deal with Victoria in the meantime? The psychics decide to visit the cemetery to summon Victoria's spirit. Meanwhile, the project's detective heads to see the neighbor who reported hearing strange sounds from Victoria's apartment on the day of the murder.
I hear her laughter. She's talking to someone loudly. And now I see an electric cord around her neck and a man strangling her. He hides the cord in his pocket. My sacred book suggests that she loved her killer. She thought he would become her husband and a father to her son. They knew each other well, but their first encounter was strange, as if it happened in another reality.
Victoria, who is your killer? She's showing me her mobile phone. And at that moment, I understood that Victoria met her killer through that mobile phone. It was some kind of virtual communication.
After the investigation, we learned from Victoria's friends that she had recently started using a dating app.
We talked about a dating app that I accidentally installed. I said, "Why don't you upload some of your photos?"
So that's what those strange visions that I had been seeing all that day meant. The dossiers with men's photos were profiles on a dating app. There, the woman communicated with a certain man and went out with him.
Victoria's friends say that shortly before her murder, she went on vacation with a man.
The day before her birthday, she called me and said she was going somewhere to the seaside. I asked with whom, but she refused to tell.
Meanwhile, our detective is already at the door of the apartment of the woman who heard noises from the apartment above her on the morning of the tragedy.
I woke up at around 6 and heard some loud noises from up there. But, they never woke up that early. Then I heard voices. It was a conversation.
Was there an argument? Did you hear an argument?
No, I didn't.
So, the person in the victim's apartment wasn't her ex-husband. During that time, Oleg was at home with their son. As such, the killer either spent the night with Victoria or arrived early in the morning. But who is he, and what was he looking for at her home?
And then I heard a thump, like something fell. It was in the kitchen.
What time was it when you heard it?
It was sometime after 7.
Perhaps the sound the neighbor heard was the sound of a body falling. After all, according to her, there was silence in the apartment above immediately after that. It was shortly after 7 in the morning. Then how could Victoria have replied to her ex-husband's text on Viber at 7:49?
And then I saw my morning vision again. A woman's hand presses buttons. It's the hand of someone dead. I finally understood what the image meant. The killer was sending messages from the dead woman's phone.
Incredibly, but Victoria's ex-husband and friends all confirm that she never used the word okay in her text messages.
Did she ever use okay in her text messages?
No, she always used Ukrainian.
She couldn't have texted okay. It wasn't her style of written communication.
I remembered the dream I'd had before the investigation. In it, there was a large piece of glass that resembled a mirror, and there were letters and numbers written on it, and somebody's hand was erasing them. Now I understand the piece of glass wasn't large, but small. And a man was doing like this. He was removing his phone number. The man was deleting information about him from Victoria's phone. He was erasing his phone number and call history.
He's running out of time. He knows the boy will be brought soon. He knows her plans. He hurriedly wipes the furniture and door handles with a rag and then leaves.
After the investigation by the psychics, I received some new materials on the case. Fingerprints of an unknown man were found in Victoria's apartment. However, the police failed to identify the person who had left them.
But why did the man whom the woman loved so much murder her?
My jinns say she was killed because of a car. I hear a conversation about a car.
She mentioned she wanted a car.
Victoria shows somebody a photo of a red car on her phone. She trusts the man. She told him she was saving up to buy the car.
I know she sometimes bought dollars, but I don't know where she kept them.
The murderer thought the money was in the apartment. That's why he turned everything upside down. He was searching for the money.
She didn't expect this from him. She's telling me, I loved him.
She's showing me his image now. This man is around 35. Dark hair, fair eyes, average height, athletic build.
Will he be punished?
This man will be found through the information on Victoria's phone. The deleted messages and calls must be recovered. But unfortunately, we don't have that capability. Only the police can do it. But I'm afraid the killer will be caught only after he commits another crime.
We and all our friends are very grateful to you for agreeing to come and help us. Justice will prevail.
It's hard to believe. The woman thought she found love on a dating app, but instead, she found her death. If you're impressed by the story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Many more incredible investigations by the psychics are coming up.